So I'm gonna go through all the monster cards and read its ability and tell you my thoughts on it. So Aradin, its order: boost a unit by 4 and give it immune. So it's basically like you can save an engine with this card, I guess. It's more to save an engine, so the opponent can't kill it. This seems pretty good actually. And you have 4 mulligans. Okay, not bad. Then you have Woodland Spirit. Order: set the power of a unit in your hand to 10. So this seems to be really useful with low powered units like 1 strength. It could be 9 strength leader every turn. And you have 3 mulligans. Okay, this seems okay. Unseen Elder. Trigger an ally's death wish. On round start, refresh this ability. So you have 2 mulligans and you can consume once per turn. I mean, trigger Death Wish. It seems pretty good with Death Wish archetype. Outside of that, it's useless card, of course. In Death Wish though, it seems pretty good because you can play Death Wish unit and instantly trigger its ability. So we have Araka's Queen. Whenever you destroy an allied unit, spawn an Arakas. So I think destroy also counts with consume, but I'm not sure. You have only 1 mulligan though, so that's weak. But it can be good in consume swarm archetype, kind of. So yeah, let's check the other cards. So you have Ruane. He's 11 provision cost. Death Wish: on turn end, summon this unit from your graveyard. So it's like an old Olgierd. Nothing new. He's good with consume. Other than that, he's useless. And maybe with Cyclopses and those cards. Weave's Incantation. Deploy a melee, consume a unit in your hand and draw a card. So it's like an old Toad Prince. Actually, it has good synergy with Spear Tip. Has 13 strength, no ability for 15 provision cost, which is a bit weak, I think. But combined with Vives, it can be really strong. Probably there is more synergy here. More than only 2. Morntart. Order: banish all units in your graveyard and boost self by 1 for each one. So it's the same as old Morntart. If those Araka's drones are not banished, then this card could have really high potential. But if they are, then this card it's a bit weak. I don't know. If those are not, if those stay in the graveyard, then Morntart can be pretty powerful. Wisp's Tribute. Deploy, ranged, play an organic card from your deck. So if you play it on ranged row, you can play an organic card. It's the same as old Wisp's with lower value. So it's still pretty good card, I feel like. This card is still gonna be in most monster decks. It has 10 provision cost though. Death Wish: seize an enemy with 3 or less power. Okay, okay. So you can... This is like a 9 strength unit for 10 provision cost unless you get an engine. But you can use Death Wish multiple times, like with... let me just show you with Unseen Elder. So this could be a good synergy here. So you can steal multiple of 3 or less powered units. This could be strong if you have a lot of Death Wish trigger abilities. Melee: whenever an ally is destroyed, boost self by 2. So again, when an ally is destroyed, so it has good synergy with consume, I guess. If consume counts as destroyed. Every turn on turn end, the player with the most units on battlefield destroys their ally with lowest power. Okay, so this card has really high synergy with decks that don't swarm the board, that play only 1 or 2 units. This seems like a good strategy with old spear tip and Weave's incantation, combined with maybe ghouls. They have the same ability. Where were we? Okay, oh, here. Morwood, deploy boost all allied beasts by 1. Okay. So it has synergy with beasts. You have to get like 4 or 3 beasts for it to be decent. Which doesn't seem that hard. So it's a pretty good card. It has the potential. 9 strength, no ability. Again, good with the Weaves. Other than that, it's pretty weak. Just a moment. Oh, here were we. Death Wish. Summon the unit with lowest power from the enemy's deck on the opposite row. It's a 10 strength for 10 provision cost, and this Death Wish ability seems not great. He must not be killed in that case. So he's not good in Death Wish deck. He's actually terrible if used with Death Wish, because you give your opponent a unit, which you never want to. Again, useful card with Weaves. Outside of that, it's useless. Naglfar, look at 2 random gold cards from your deck, then play one and place the other on top. It's the same as old Gels, just with only golds, because there are no silvers. It's pretty good actually. For 10 provision cost, it seems like it's gonna be in most decks again. In most monster decks. It's useful in any monster deck. Okay, Ritual Sacrifice. Trigger all allies' Death Wish abilities. So again, only good with Death Wish. It's really good with Death Wish if you have a lot of Death Wish units, but outside of that it's useless. So you only put it in Death Wish deck. Death Wish seems strong. Then you have Ozorel. Consume a unit from the enemy graveyard. Ranged, consume a unit from your graveyard. So it's great if you have a lot of high value units, like old spear tip. It's mostly used for high value units, I guess. Toad Prince. Deploy melee, consume a unit with 3 or less power. So it's like an old Karen, I think, but with only 3 or less power. If this card denies some engines, then it's pretty good, but if it doesn't, it's a little bit below average. It's not great. So, but most engines are like 3 or 4 strength, it seems, so. In that case, this card is pretty good, but you usually want 4 removal to have a chance to remove all engines. Almost all of them, no? So you have Striga. Deploy, damage an enemy by 4. So it has 4 removal. This is good to remove most of the engines, so it's a pretty good card in any monster deck. Karen, Zeal. Units with order may be triggered in the same turn they are played, so it can be triggered instantly. Order, consume an ally. Okay. Charge 3. So it can consume 3 allies, so it's like old Araka's Queen and the same as closed beta Karen. This seems pretty good with consume. Actually really strong with consume. Okay, so we have Imlerith. Order, if the highest unit is an ally, damage a unit by 2. Cooldown 1, reach 2. Okay, so you want to play Imlerith probably with Vives, Old Spear Tip, and Ozrel. Yeah. So this is a good synergy. Monsters seem to have new archetype, which is that you can play with high value units. But those high value units may be weak to Scorch, I think. If the Scorch is the same. Probably is. Ranged. Whenever you play a unit with Death Wish, trigger its Death Wish ability. So it triggers Death Wish ability whenever you play. It's 5 strength, so it just escapes the range of most removal. Azul's Thunder, I think, does 5 damage, so Azul's can remove him. So you maybe want to boost him before playing him, but it can survive some hits. And his ability is really good if he stays on board. Like, any Death Wish card that you play, you can instantly trigger its ability without killing it. So that's good. Frightener. After 3 allied units are destroyed, awaken Frightener, which is 12 strength, immune. Okay. Immune is good, so the opponent can't target it. 12 strength for 9 provision cost is really strong. It's good with consume, I feel like. If consume counts as destroyed again, I don't know if it does. So Ice Giant, 7 strength, no ability. This seems a bit weak. It's good with Al Ghul, but we've seen a lot of high strength units, so Ice Giant might not be worth it. Ice Giant seems pretty bad actually. Arakas Behemoth. Spawn 2 Arakas and boost all other insectoids on this row by 1. So it's good in Swarm Insectoid deck. So it's like Consume Insectoid deck again. Pretty good deck, seems like. This card seems like pretty good. For 2 strength, 8 provision cost, if you have a lot of units, it can have a potential. Corantier. Deploy, spawn a 1 power copy of a unit from your hand on this unit's row. So it's like an operator. For 8 provision cost you can use another ability. This seems really good. Like, you can maybe copy Gales, maybe copy Arakas Behemoth. You can either copy engine or deploy card, anything seems good. Another Crone maybe, which seems to be like River Hunters. Boost an ally by 2, permanently increase this unit's boost by 2 whenever you play Whispers or Brewess. Yeah, it seems like an old River Hunter deck. Just those are Crones. So you can use Corantier with them. Pretty good. Whispering Hillock. Destroy an allied unit, then spawn and play a copy of it. Pretty good with Death Wish. Outside of that, I don't see much in this card. You can replay another Manticore maybe, which I played with it a bit, and it's a really strong card. Because you can trigger it instantly with Unseen Elder or Gales. It can destroy the first unit your opponent plays, which can be engine or really strong unit. Manticore is really good, I feel like. So let's go back. Then you have Imlari's Wrath. Damage an enemy by the power of your highest ally. So it has the synergy with high strength units. You can have like 16 strength removal with Vives, which seems pretty good. Okay, so we have Ghoul. Ghoul, consume a unit in your graveyard and boost self by its power. Again, good with good strength with high strength units. It's the same as old Ghoul actually, with a bit less power. Griffin, destroy an allied unit on this row. If there are no units, destroy self. It seems this is really good with Death Wish. Outside of that, it seems pretty weak, maybe with one strength unit. For it to be averagey, I don't know. In Death Wish seems pretty good, outside of that it's weak. Werecat. Thrive. Thrive boosts this unit by 1 whenever an ally with higher power is played. So some synergy with high strength units, but it has Death Wish ability. Repeat the deploy abilities, so you kinda don't want to play it outside Death Wish. It's good for row removal. It's the same as old Werecat without Blood Moon actually, but with Death Wish ability. Seems pretty good if the opponent has a lot of units on the row. So we have Glusty Warp. This is a new card. Destroy all units with 1 power. For each unit destroyed, boost self by 2. So it seems to have really good synergy with Insectoids. You basically can, maybe if you have 8 1 strength units, you can have this unit to be really strong for its provision cost, which could be pretty good as a finisher. This card could be really strong as a finisher in Insectoid decks. Okay, so then you have Avaya. Thrive. Boost this unit, yeah, Thrive is the same always. Deploy, trigger Bronze Allies Death Wish. Again, Death Wish synergy with Thrive as a bonus. Pretty good with Death Wish, but it only triggers a Bronze. So you need like to get 4 damage out of it to be decent. Which could be easily achievable. Death Wishes, I think, are like 4 or less. Just a moment, let me check. Yeah, for example, Rot Fiend is only 4 damage. Yeah, so it can get decent value. In Death Wish it's pretty good. And it can get bonus value if you play higher value units. Death Wish, destroy an enemy with lowest power. I already told about this card. It seems to be pretty good while I played it. Especially played on the first turn with Unseen Elder combined. It's like an old Epidemic, but with no risk on your side of the board. Okay, so you have Parasite, damage an enemy by 6 or boost an ally by 6. Could be good with Imlerith's Wrath and with high power strength units, but outside of that it's kinda pretty weak. Can maybe keep some engines alive with boost. Okay, let's go to others. Siren, deploy, boost an ally with Death Wish by 3. So if you play Death Wish deck, it seems to have pretty good value for its provision cost. Outside of Death Wish, it's not worth it. Just a moment. Order, consume an allied unit. Charge 2. Okay. So you order means you can't trigger it as soon as you play this card. So you have to wait 1 turn and then have to wait another turn for second charge. Well, it seems fine. Or maybe 2 charges count you can use in the same turn. It seems like an old Wyvern. I think it's Wyvern. Oh, Forktail. Old Forktail, I think. It's pretty good, but you don't want it removed in the first turn it's played. It has 5 value though, so you can keep it on board. Okay, so you have Cyclops. Deploy, destroy an adjacent allied unit and damage an enemy by its power, reach 2. So it's the same as old Cyclops with only 2 reach. So I have to play it on the first row to reach the last row of the opponent. It seems pretty good. Probably pretty good in removal and also good with Death Wish. You can kill it and you can kill an engine and also get value out of Death Wish units. Pretty good actually. For only 6 provision cost. This unit is pretty strong. Deploy, consume an allied unit. I feel like this card could be kinda pointless while you have a lot of consumes already, like Karen, Barbagazi, Ciliano Harpy again. Seems like it's not worth it and it has only 1 consume. It's true that you don't have to wait a turn, but Barbagazi has 2 charges. This has 1, I don't know. I don't know if this card is worth it. Damage an enemy by 3 and boost an ally by 3. Pretty average value. You can maybe remove an engine with 3 damage. So it can be pretty good there. It's not useless anymore as it was in... as it is in Gwent right now. Melee boost self by 2 for every unit less than your opponent on the battlefield. So it's kinda counter swarm, I guess. If you don't play a lot of units, if you play only with a few strong units, then this card could be really good. Outside of that, it's useless. But yeah, in this deck could be actually pretty good. You have to have like 1, 2, around 3 units for this unit to be worth it. 3 units less than opponent. If opponent plays any kind of swarming, it's easy value for Jotun. Nithral. Deploy, destroy an enemy artifact, damage adjacent units by 2 if the highest unit is an ally. So it basically destroys an enemy artifact. If the opponent plays artifacts, this card is extremely good. If the opponent doesn't, it's a little bit weak for its provision cost, but still okay to put in the deck. Especially if there will be a lot of artifacts in the meta. It seems like ambush cards are artifacts. So you have Devana Runestone. Create and play a bronze monster faction card. Again, the same as old Runestone. Seems pretty bad. For bronze faction card, unless you get something like Ghoul or Griffin, which are 7 provision cost instead of 6, it's pretty useless. It's an RNG card. They said that they would remove them, but it doesn't seem like they did. Deploy trigger a bronze ally's Death Wish ability. Synergy with Death Wish. Okay. It's actually pretty good. A little bit synergy with Death Wish. 3 strength. You trigger maybe for 4, so it gets really high value for its provision cost. Seems pretty good actually. Wild Hunt Hound. Deploy, damage an enemy by 1 if the highest unit on the battlefield is an ally, damage by 3 instead. Okay, so it gets a little bit higher value for its provision cost if you have really high units. So again, it has good synergy with high value units and Eredin's boost ability. Seems like Wild Hunt archetype will be high value units. Harpy Egg, Death Wish, spawn a Harpy. 3 strength with 5 strength Harpy to spawn. If you have a lot of Death Wish triggers, this card could be a really good Death Wish card. But I feel like, as we see in Rotfiend, damage a random enemy by 4, which can remove engines. And if there is only 1 card on the board, you can guarantee which one to hit. Seems like a bit weak against Rotfiend, but... Breach Troll. If you trigger Heartbeat multiple times, then it could become better than Breach Troll. If you trigger it only once, it's break even. If you don't trigger it, then Breach Troll is better, I guess. Yeah, it's again good with Death Wish. Both of them are good with Death Wish. Deploy, damage a unit by 1 for each Wild Hunt unit on this row, reach 1. It has 1 reach, so this is kinda weak. And you have to have a lot of Wild Hunt units. Although you need only 2 for this card to be okay-ish. So it's pretty good. Foglet, summon a copy of this unit from your deck, Death Wish. It's a deck thinning for making decks more consistent. But if you don't want to make deck more consistent, it's a bit weak because you need to trigger Death Wish first. And you can trigger it more than once because you can have only 2 Foglets in the deck. Okay, so we have Slicer. Order, consume an allied unit on this row, cooldown 1. So it's like an old Friend Warrior. Seems pretty good with consume. Again, you have a lot of consume cards and I don't understand why would you ever use Harpy, Ciliano. But it can also work in Death Wish archetype, I feel like, with Ruane. Yeah, this could work. This card and Ruane could really be good combined. It's like Vren and Olgierd War. Okay. So we have Ice Troll. Every turn on turn end, if you have less units than your opponent, boost self by 1. Okay, again, good with decks that play a little units but high value units. And you only need to have 1 less unit for this card to be okay. So this card actually has really high potential. Rod Fint I already said about him. Droner. Order, move an enemy unit to its other row. So it has movement, cooldown 3, so every 3 turns you can activate it. For strength, movement, I haven't seen a lot of movement strategy yet. Maybe it's good with weather, but outside of that it seems pretty weak for its provision cost. But it's not that bad, even if you don't get value out of him. So you have Wild Hunt Rider. Deploy if the highest unit on the battlefield is an ally, summon a copy of this unit from your deck. This could be 8 strength. If you play a lot of high strength units, then this card could be insane. Like 8 strength with deck thinning. Wow. This card is a bit overpowered, I think. It should be 3 strength, I don't know. As opposed to Foglet, when you have to also trigger his Death Wish ability, but it's like 3 strength. It costs the same. Like, this card is way better. Of course not in the same archetype, but still. Okay, so we have Forktail. Deploy, damage all other units by 1. So again, good if you play little units and very high value units. So again, it seems to be a new archetype with monsters. You basically not play a lot of units and you play a lot of high value units. Okay, so we have Predatory Div. What? This name is hard to pronounce. Predatory Div. I don't know. Destroy the unit with the lowest power on both player sides. So if the opponent plays a lot of high value units and you play a lot of low value units, this card could be good. But it has the weakness of getting 0 value or even minus value. So, yeah. Immune Thrive. Thrive boosts this unit whenever. So it has a good synergy with high value units. It's 5 strength for 5 provision cost. And it has Thrive and it is immune? What? This is actually a really strong card. Like, it's already good enough in value. But then it has immune and a high ability. Wow. This is insane. High powered units and playing not a lot of them, it seems to be a good strategy. Then you have Archetype. Damage a random enemy by 2, Thrive, okay. It has 1 value. Again, good with high value units. High power units. Deploy, damage a random enemy by 2, so... It's the same as old Archetype, just no more engines. Death Wish, repeat this unit's deploy ability. It's a bit weak for Death Wish unit. Feel like this unit is a bit weak from what we've seen of Death Wish units. I don't know. Then we have Necker, Thrive. Again, good with high powered units. Deploy, spawn a copy of this unit. Oh, you basically buff 2 Neckers for the price of 1. Okay. Seems pretty good. Have to boost him 4 times to be above average card, which is pretty decent. Ancient Foglet, Death Wish. Summon this unit from the graveyard to the same row, boosted by 4 and gain Doomed. So this card basically has to be killed because triggering its Death Wish ability does nothing because it has to be in the graveyard. So that's a little bit weakness of it. So you kinda have to play him for 1 value. If you don't trigger him multiple times, he's kinda bad. He's only good with cards like Cyclops and those, but other than that, he's kinda bad. He's a weaker Roain. Well, he costs only 4 provision costs, so you could say that with Consume he's really good. Cockatrice, damage an enemy by 2 for each beast adjacent to self for each 1. So it's good with beasts. You only need 1 beast for this card to be worth it, but if you have 2, the card is already great. Deploy, boost an allied unit by 1. If the highest unit is an ally, boost by 3 instead. Again, with high units, good with high units. If it gets boosted by 3, it's pretty good. If it boosts by 1, it's a little bit weak. But if you play a lot of high value units, then this shouldn't be the problem. Wyvern, deploy, damage a unit by 2, okay. Reach 2, okay. So you have 2 reach and damage a unit by 2. It's pretty averagey. I don't see this card being put in any deck really. Because 2 value removal doesn't seem to remove not a lot of engines, at least. Are 2 strength. Most of the engines, it seems like, are 3 strength or 4 strength. So you have Ran Warrior. Wait. Is this card not crafted? And not milled? You can't use him? Oh, that's interesting. You can't try him yet. Whenever a unit is destroyed, damage a random enemy unit by 1. Again, good with Consume if Consume counts as destroyed. I'm not sure yet, I'll have to try that. Werewolf, 4 with immune. Okay. Pretty averagey. 4 for 4 word value with immune. It's a little bit high for 4 only, but it's average. It's kinda average card. Necker Warrior, Thrive. Again, good with high powered units, but I see no reason to play him over the Necker. This seems like a stupid idea to play Necker Warrior over Necker. Seems like Necker is better in every way than Necker Warrior. Deploy boost all Death Wish units in your hand by 1. This could be really strong if you have all Death Wish units. A lot of Death Wish units, I mean. And Monster Nest as a final card. Spawn 4 Arakas with 1 power on an allied row. So it's pretty good with Swarm Archetype. Pretty good with the 1 card, the Glusty Warp. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty good, and it summons 4 Arakas with 1 power for 4 value, so this card is actually pretty good. It seems like for 4 provision cost cards are the highest value versus provision, it seems. And the highest provision cost seems to be the lowest value versus provision. Interesting. Okay, so this is it from my analysis of going through all the cards. So if you want to see more analysis, give it a like and a comment. And also consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.